So in this video, we're going to go over someone else's pipeline and I'm going to show you the problem that they're having and then I'm going to fix it. So let me show you a video that he recorded explaining his problem so we can actually just watch that instead of me describing it myself. So let's watch that.
Sort of giving you, a whole overview of my pipeline. It's pretty solid right now. I have some good VAs working. Keep in mind, I've only been doing this for about 2 months in this field, so I'm relatively new to the CRM thing here. But the bottleneck's right here. I have a pending stage, which I talk to the decision maker on the phone. It goes well. They say, great. I tell them my budget. They're like, hey, that's reasonable. That works within our bounds. I like this. I'm going to bring it to the community. At that point, it goes to pending. My question is this last stage right here. Am I talking to the right people? Is there something that I'm missing? I bring this up because I've talking to quite a few, and it's not that the date goes by and I don't hear back from them. I'm not sure if I'm missing something else really important in this process. Maybe I'm not reaching out to the right person, or I'm just not being patient, or maybe I need to give them something more legit, or I need to reach out to say 10 and 1 closes. I don't really have any stats on this. I actually keep stats for everything, as you see here. I just want to let you know, I actually take this stuff seriously. So I'm pretty diligent about the whole process. So knowing this last stage, what happens here? I know there's a community involved and they select speakers and they go from there. Am I missing anything, or do I just need to be patient? All right. Thanks, Benji.
Well, the first thing you need to think about is anything that is repetitive, you need to have a response to it. You need to know how to react to this thing, because it's going to come up again no matter what you do. And so that's why I keep telling people you got to have all these templates, because people respond in predictable ways. No matter what industry you're in, people always respond in predictable ways. They say similar things, everything. So with speaking, it's like, okay, I know that after we get to a point where I quote them the fee, they're going to ignore me, because it's happened several times before. It's going to happen several times again. I know they're going to ignore me. So because you know this, you need to have responses. You need to have templates that are going to show you, templates that are basically guaranteed to get a response. And so the way you figure out what templates to use is basically over time. And you kind of say, all right, I'm going to try it this way, then I'm going to try it that way, then I'm going to try it this way. And you try different ways, and whichever way is the best, that's the way you keep going with. And then you build up these templates. So it's one of the reasons why, like in Event Finder, where I have the whole sequence built out, where here's what's going to happen. You're going to send out the first email, the pitch email, this, and then you're going to quote your fee. If they ignore you, you move on to this follow-up. If they ignore that follow-up, you move on to this follow-up. Then you get to a point where you send them the contract. If they ignore you after you send the contract, you send this follow-up and this follow-up and this follow-up. And so it's all these follow-ups that you have. So you need to create a follow-up sequence for one. So that's number one. There's still 2 other things. We got 3 things total. So number 1 is you got to create a follow-up sequence. Number 2 is, number 2, I want to drop some knowledge on you to begin with. Imagine you go to a bar. A guy is in a bar and he wants to pick up women, right? And so he goes up to a girl and he starts talking with her. He's like, hey, pretty mama. And he starts talking with her, right? And so at a certain point, he asks her for her number. He says, hey, can I get your number? Hey, put your number in my phone. And so she's like, no. And maybe she lies about it. She's like, nah, I got a boyfriend. And so what happens is the guy, he's going to go over to his friends and he's going to be like, man, I don't know, maybe I should have asked her differently. Maybe I should have pulled out her phone. I should ask for her phone first and type my number in and then sent me a text or something like that. And he's thinking how do I do this right? How do I ask her the right way? And in reality, everything that happened before he asked for her number is what he should fix. Not when he asks her for her number, it's everything before that. So what does this have to do with you? Well, when you get to the point where you quote your fee or you send a contract or the point where you are talking to them, the sale happens before all of that. It happens with your website. So I took a look at your website, and let's actually, I kind of did like a little review, quick review on your website. We are here on your website, and I'm going to kind of go over real quick in terms of your website. So when I first come to your website, I always do a scan test. So I always kind of just scroll through and I just scan everything. Now, when I scan your website, I think to myself, all right, you need to improve the overall look of the website. Like here, the header image needs to be a million times better. Like if you just use phone apps, you can create a really cool header image with a phone app on your iPhone or Android phone. So your header image needs to be a million times better. The actual theme that you're using, I looked it up. It's a really good theme, but you just need to now use it better. And so, like for example, when I scroll down here, I see your video, and it's a video of you and just some other guys. But what you should have, let me go here. So this is the TED Talk. So what you should have is something that shows the TED in the background like that of you just on stage, and it just shows the TED right there. And so you should create a thumbnail that has something like this or better. And these are just little things, but I would actually change up your entire website. So when I looked at the theme, this is the theme that you're using, and this theme itself is, I mean, it's pretty nice. Like it has several demos here, and it's pretty nice. So let's look at this demo, and if this thing will load, click another demo here. So let's kind of look at the demo. So when I scroll down on this demo, it looks pretty freaking cool. Like in terms of everything, the pictures here. So what I would do is I would take something like this. So here I would have a really cool looking header, a header of you. Here I would have maybe a video right here, just your main TED video right there. When they scroll down, this would be like a review. So just reviews of people from TED or something. And these would be pictures of you on stage. And so that's kind of what I would do. So I would change up your website. I mean, even something like this. This is pretty cool. Like with the mountain, and you see the clouds that are moving. So the theme that you're actually using, it's a really good theme, and there's a lot that's possible with it. Now you just have to use it. You just have to make sure that you're using the theme to make it a million times better. But you definitely need to update your website. That's for sure. So even like here, I'm on the about page here, and it's just the picture of you. This should be like a different type of picture, like maybe a crowd picture. Like there's you, maybe there's a crowd in the background. But you have to think of little things like that in terms of improving your website in general. And then also think in terms of video footage. If you don't have a lot of video footage, just get some video testimonials of the people who have seen you present. So that's kind of what you want to do in terms of improving your website. Like here, you see you got the crowd picture here, but it's on this page rather than other pages. It's only on one page, and so you just want to make sure that you improve your overall website. Once you improve your website, everything that happens after that is going to be really easy. But right now, your website is making it really hard. It's like, imagine that you're in a job interview. You go to a job interview wearing torn jeans and a torn shirt, then it's going to be really hard for you to get a job versus if you're in a suit. And so right now, you need to update your website to where it's like you're wearing a full-blown suit and you just look like a rock star. So the theme that you're using, this Brooklyn theme, is pretty good. Now just use it to its full capacity. So that's pretty much what you want to do with the website. So the first thing is you got to create that follow-up sequence because people are going to ignore you. You have these templates that's going to get them to respond. Second thing is you got to work on the website because it's the website that actually sells the people. Nothing you do at the point where you quote the fee, at that point, it's too late. It's like the guy who asked for the girl's number and he's already been weird up to that point. I mean, it doesn't work. So it's the website that you want to work on. And the third thing, well, I tend to tell a lot of people to sign up to the Speak Pro Academy, not because I make money off of it. Well, actually, I do make money off of it, but I tell them because the problems that you're going to face with your business is psychological. And I see this with everyone. The tactics and the techniques are really easy. But I want to quote myself because I wrote this in an email. And I was like, damn, that's good, Benji. And I said this. I said, everyone underestimates what it takes. And that's why you have to keep going further than you thought. So when I looked at your numbers in the video, Your numbers, I'm trying to remember from memory, it was like 500 and something, maybe almost 600. And I don't know for how long that was, maybe a couple months or something, but you have like 500 leads. I want to give you the numbers to someone inside of Speak Pro Academy, and she does this per week. Every week, these are her numbers: 632 new leads, 1,035 contacted, 218 responded, 2 new opportunities, and 1 gig booked. That's every week. Now you might think, well, what? How does she get only 600 new leads but 1,000 contacted? That doesn't sound right. The numbers. Well, basically, the people contacted is kind of like from the week before and stuff like that. So, but basically, that's what her numbers are every week. And so you have to increase your numbers. You got to think, all right, I got to do more. I got to increase my numbers more. And so a lot of speakers, they don't get on stages just because they're not prepared for what it takes psychologically. So like when I heard you say, I'm not sure if this is the right process, that's what naturally happens. When you start contacting people and they're not responding, you're not getting booked, you naturally like backpedal. You naturally say, is this working? Should I do something else? Should I maybe create some content or something? And so you naturally backpedal. In reality, you have to push further than what you thought, because even in the video, you said something like, it was like, oh, maybe I got to wait a little bit because for every 10, one maybe might book or something like that. It's more like for every 1,000, one might book. And so if you aren't prepared for those numbers, you end up quitting too soon. And so you can't underestimate the work that's required. And it's why I tell people to join the Speak Pro Academy, because I'm there to tell you you're not doing enough. You're not doing nearly enough. You're not doing the things that you think you should be doing. And it's a psychological game that's going to jack you up. And so you might be doing the right things, but you got to make sure you're doing the details right as well. So you got to make sure that what you're saying in the email, so you got to make sure you're talking like $1 million speaker. That's kind of what I say, like talking like $1 million speaker, talking like someone who's in demand. You got to make sure you're doing those things. You got to make sure that you're contacting enough people. These are just little things. So that's basically what you want to do to fix your bottleneck. But number one is you got to have the follow-up sequence. You got to have the templates. Number two is you definitely got to work on your website. And number three, you just got to be prepared for it to take longer than what you thought and for it to be harder than what you thought, especially if you're doing it on your own. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what you're going to do to fix your problem.